Frogs have come up with some interesting ways to keep their eggs safe from predators. Frog eggs face a variety of predators in their environment. Some common ones include aquatic insects, such as water beetles and dragonfly nymphs that feed on the eggs.
Fish like trout and bass may also prey on frog eggs if they come across them in the water. When water rises, fish come into play, and predatory fish find that tadpoles and fish eggs are easy and available targets. Additionally, certain birds, like herons and ducks, might consume frog eggs if they find them near the water's edge. These predators pose challenges to the survival of frog eggs, which is why parental care and other defense mechanisms are so important for their protection.
One common strategy is to lay their eggs in bodies of water that predators can't reach, like ponds or swamps. Temporary pools are tropical frog favorite breeding area because there are fewer predators in these little ponds. This is because it's dangerous for fish because fish can't survive evaporation. The only con to this survival strategy is if your pool dries up before development is finished, the entire year's work of reproduction will be lost.
Some frogs even lay their eggs in foam nests that float on the water's surface. A male Lepidodactylus makes a burrow that eventually will fill with water when it rains. Before it rains, these frogs will scrape out a little hole in the ground and call for a mate. After mating occurs, the male will extract mucus from his skin into a thick foam-like substance for the eggs to be laid on. The con to this strategy is eggs will lack a protective membrane, but this is also a good thing because it's harder for the eggs to dry out. When rain fills the hole, tadpoles will develop as normal.
These nests provide protection and camouflage for the eggs. Other frogs may lay their eggs on leaves and trees or attach them to underwater plants, keeping them hidden from hungry predators. Munch.
The Centralidae frogs breed along a single creek in the lowland rainforest in central or northwestern South America. These frogs deposit eggs on twigs or leaves that overhang small streams. Tadpoles then fall into the stream and develop in the water. This defense mechanism protects them from their aquatic predators like fish, freshwater prawns, and aquatic beetles. Most centralinids lose interest in their eggs after laid, but they keep a close eye on them as they develop.
Direct development is more common in lizards or snakes, but it's spectacular in frogs. There are no free-living tadpoles, and the baby frogs emerge from the egg. Frogs only distribute a few eggs at a time, a dozen or less. The developing embryo must sustain itself on the parent-supplied food source, and the investment of energy a female frog must make can be considerable despite the small number of eggs.
The lepidodactylid frog genus, called Eleutherodactylus, has over 400 known species, and most are found in Central and South America.
Although they have divorced themselves completely from staying on water, their eggs lack the shells and membranes that protect embryos from drying out. In order to develop, eggs must be deposited, and the litter zone of a tropical rainforest offers a damp environment.
Some frogs also exhibit parental care, with the parents guarding the eggs and keeping them safe until they hatch. When frogs lay their eggs, some species take on the responsibility of guarding them. The parents, usually the female but sometimes the male as well, will stay close to the eggs to protect them from predators and ensure they have the right conditions for development. They might stay nearby or even wrap their bodies around the eggs to provide protection. Some frogs in the Andes Mountains, called Gastroteca, carry their developing eggs in a pouch on their body until tadpoles are well developed. With the mountains being so cold, retaining the eggs on their body as long as possible is the best option to making sure their eggs survive. Developmental stages are dependent on temperature and constant cold environment versus eggs with no protective membrane is not an even fight. By retaining these eggs on themselves, the Andean gastrotecas accelerate the development of their young.
Frogs may not seem all that interesting, but it's important for frogs to not die off from predation because they play a crucial role in the ecosystem. Frogs help control insect populations by eating pests like mosquitoes and flies. If frogs were to disappear, it could have cascading effects on the entire ecosystem. Frogs help control insect populations by eating pests, which help keep their numbers in check.
This can be especially beneficial for humans as it reduces the spread of diseases carried by insects. Additionally, frogs serve as a food source for other animals such as birds and snakes, contributing to the biodiversity of the ecosystem. Lastly, their tadpoles feed on algae and other organic matter, helping maintain the balance of an aquatic ecosystem.